Hey, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, on the call with me is I keep saying, I keep calling him my helper, but actually, let me introduce you to Roman Pesky, guys. If you haven't met this young man, he's one of the up and coming business consultants in our industry. At his young, tender age, he's in his, how old are you, sir? 21, 22? How old are you?
21, about to be 22.
Oh, well, congratulations. I hope you make it. He grew up in a karate school under my partner, Master Pesky. And what's interesting is that he's the guy on our team that said, to really help our studios out, we got to really get our head wrapped around the social media,
So Pete for
emerging social
preference.
media
Okay.
platforms.
Give me
Hey, I'm
one
going to mute
second.
you, gentlemen. Roman is our go-to guy for anything technical on and offline. And moving forward, if you ever have any challenges with marketing, particularly marketing on Facebook, reach out to him. Now, one of the things that Roman has done for our company is that he created an ads course that's second to none. And I'm just going to start with this. Now, listen, this is not a commercial. This is an invitation to take advantage of a free training. Listen, I go pretty far back in the martial art industry. I remember back in the late 90s, what came in vogue was leveraging the internet. And of course, to be on the internet, you needed a website. And back in those olden times, to build a website was an enormous undertaking. For these old dogs on the call, you probably remember back in 99, 2000, to build a website probably cost 5,000 bucks. Not only did it cost $5,000, it took months to get ready to launch. Now, here it is 25 years later, and you can get a high school kid to do you a favor and build a website that would trump what was built 25 years ago for free. Now, the reason I share this is I think the same thing is happening with online marketing. It's been made to seem super complicated, when actually it's not that complicated. What's required there is steady attention. Because let me keep remind you, marketing online is in fact a moving target. But what we've done to alleviate some of the pressures you might feel about having to hire a third-party service to run your ads for you, we went ahead and put up a free ads course. After this call, if you don't have access to it, reach out to Roman via text and he'll unlock it for you. And it literally is a paint by numbers methodology to run ads that work. As a matter of fact, if you decide to use this service, this training, heck, by 6 o'clock this evening, I don't care where you are in the world, you could have ads trickling into your email address or your text. But anyway, enough about that. So again, Roman, thank you so much for being on the call. We've had a Dynamite 24 looking for your high energy input in 2025. Well, let's begin the training. Monday is used for Q&A. And the Q&A section of our training is for those folks that are using or utilizing some materials, or you've heard some of the ideas that we banter. If you have any concerns or questions, now's the time to voice them. So let's start with a bang. Who has a question? Anyone? Okay, so we'll go to what was sent in. One of the questions that was asked is, how do I collect more money at the start of a membership at the very front end? All right, Chris, I'm going to mute you. So let me readdress the question. The question is, how can a studio collect more money at the front end on the very first day of their membership? Well, here it is, guys. It's a three-letter word, ask. You got to ask for the monies you want. Now, that's the simplistic answer. But now let me back it up with some reasonable steps. Everyone on this call is leveraging some type of trial offer. Whether it's a single assessment class or whether it's 2 weeks or a full month, makes no difference to me. But whatever you offer someone to utilize to start, there lies your leverage. And let me give you a very simple example. What we strongly recommend at Mass Training / Warrior Success Systems is to sell a 2-week trial for 20 bucks. Why 20 bucks? Well, it's real simple. If you lost a $20 bill, you probably wouldn't spend all day looking for it. As a matter of fact, you probably say, so it's 20 bucks. Well, we might find it later. $20 is an inconsequential amount of money that most people use day in and day out. It's not a major consideration, but beyond $20, sometimes you got to think about it. So that's number one. Number two is this. $20, again, allows you to pay back the marketing cost to get that person to opt in and find out more about your offer. So let's stop right there. So in this example, I'm going to use a 2-week trial that we sold online for $20. Now, when somebody comes into your academy, mission accomplished. The only reason why you sell trials or get people to book trials or a free week or a assessment class is to get them to come through the threshold of your academy. Then the show is on. Don't think or stop believing that a student needs to utilize the full trial before they make a decision about enrolling in your academy. And start believing if you do the right thing the right way at the end of the very first visit, this person, this student, this family will recognize the value of your membership and take you up on your offer. So once they come into your academy for the trial, now it's time to enroll them. And this simple mind shift can change your business remarkably, literally overnight. Stop thinking that a person needs 2 or 3 visits before they can make up their mind to enroll. And again, start believing that if you help somebody understand the impact that your membership may have, the benefits that they'll gain, they will enroll and pay you whatever monies you ask at the end of the first visit. Now, that being said, when somebody comes through the threshold of your academy for the very first time to take their first class or do their assessment, the dog and pony show begins. You greet them at the front counter, you take them on a tour, you sit down and do a PA or an assessment, you teach a rocking class, you help them understand the features and benefits of your program, and you invite them to enroll by leveraging the incentive of using the value for the trial. I had to say all those words to get to this point. So the 2-week trial that this person invested in, they spent 20 bucks. And by the way, the money was collected over the phone when the person opted in and we reached out and had a phone conversation with them. That 2-week trial has a real value of half your tuition. So if you're charging 250 bucks a month, that trial has a real retail value of $125. That's what you use as an incentive to not use the trial, but take you up on the membership offer. So I'm just going to shoot from the hip here. So here's the way it sounds. Mrs. Lewis, you're on a trial membership. It's our 2-week program to help your family find out whether the right academy for you or not. In addition to that, we use it as a means of qualifying a student for one of our programs. And ma'am, after what we saw tonight in his very first class, there's no doubt in my mind that not only have we found the right studio for your child, the confidence you want him to have, he's going to learn that overnight. So we don't need to use the next 2 weeks to figure that out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to apply the real value of your 2-week trial as a form of savings, saving you $125 for enrolling tonight. And I am so confident this is the right membership. I'm going to match the savings. So for enrolling tonight, you save 250 bucks. How's that sound? That sounds fantastic. Now you're off to the races, guys. What we did was we sort of rebated the trial. We exchanged the 2 weeks that they thought they may have to use. We exchanged it for its real value as an incentive to enroll them. And then you simply take that monies in the form of the savings and you apply it. I'm going to mute you. And you apply it to whatever initial investment that you first offer. Now, what is an initial investment? The initial investment could be a phantom number you use to do 3 things. Number 1, change their mind about how credible and valuable you are. Stop thinking that free sells and start believing what sells is a perception of value. And one of the shortcuts to perceiving value from the mind's eye of a potential new family member is the price. Listen, we live in North America, and you can say it's fair or unfair, right or wrong, doesn't matter, but most people judge value on price. The silly example that I often use is this. I have 2 pens here. This one's $10, this one's $100. Which is the better pen? Now, we could have a debate about, well, they're all the same, it's about marketing, but for the average person, the $100 pen has got to be better. It's obviously because it's more valuable in terms of its price. By you telling people that normally to enroll, we have initial investment of whatever, and don't be afraid to sticker shock them. And let me give you an example. Normally to enroll in our program, we have initial investment of $495. And our tuition rate is $249 a month. Now, I just do a big number up there. I just told them it's going to cost $500 more for you to enroll. Now, when they, being your potential client, hears that, they're going to realize, well, man, goodness, this isn't just another activity. This has got to be real. I mean, look how expensive it is. And then what you do is once you've, again, explained the cost of the initial investment, now we leverage the value of the trial. And to double down on that leverage, that incentive, you add an equal amount to it. You match the money. Then you subtract it out against that initial investment, and that's the balance to begin. Now, somebody asked me the other day, well, Fred, what is that initial investment? What's that down payment all about? What does it pay for? Now, back in the olden times, I used to make stuff up. Oh, well, that down payment, well, that takes care of your registration and your uniform. And well, let's not forget the insurance and the fact that, well, I got to pay my guy who helps out during class. It's none of that. Here, write this down if you haven't heard this already. This is worth the time you spent this morning. The initial investment, or if you use the term down payment, the initial investment, the down payment, is a portion of your overall tuition to help make your monthly tuition more affordable. That's all you have to say about it. It's a portion of the overall tuition. Now, by doing this, what we've done is we've changed the amount of money at the front end of the membership. And of all the things you can do to improve how best do I describe it? The performance of those memberships, whether it's month to month or a 12-month commitment or an outcome-based program, the one thing you can do to increase the number of payments they will make, besides the obvious, which is keep all your promises to teach great classes, is to get them to pay monies at the front end of the membership. But if you want to make more money, don't stop there. And then what you need to do is, after you've discounted the initial investment and you say the lower number and you ask, well, how does that sound? Well, that sounds okay. Half the time they reach for the wallet, you tell them, and to begin your training, all we'll need to do is take care of your first and last month's tuition, and you'll have X number of installments remaining. So let's get started. So what I just do, well, I just collected the balance of initial investment, and let's say for this example, it's only $100. But I also just collected the first and last month's tuition. If you do the math, regardless of where you are in the country, for most studios, that's in the neighborhood of $500 to begin at the end of their very first visit. Now, I've really simplified this whole concept, and we have trainings that will support it. But this is how you change the relationship at the start for the better, by letting people realize it's not another activity your kid's going to quit. This is not an expensive registration for T-ball. Lady, this is a self-development program. We're going to help your child develop the confidence you want him to have so he can navigate through life more successfully. I mean, really go for it. But this is how you change things, guys. You have an initial investment that you leverage the value of your trial against. You match that in the form of a savings. You ask how that new discount amount sounds, and then you tell them the way the tuition works. So all you need to do is take care of your first and last months to begin, and you'll have whatever number of installments remaining based on the program you sell. Now, if everyone on this call will do what I just described, even half-heartedly, your money will change overnight. Not only will your money change overnight, you've now changed the mind of these students, their parents, how valuable your membership is. Money matters, guys, and the more you charge, the more credible you're perceived to be. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, I can't do that in my community. Yes, you can. Hey, I'm well-traveled. I'm on a plane every other week. And it doesn't matter where I'm in the country, a vanilla latte made with oat milk, I'm kind of giving my recipe away, is $5.95 no matter where I go. So if you want to change your life, if you want to impact your students greater, if you want to have a business that seamlessly collects more money, you got to collect more at the front end of each and every membership. Now, I know what you're about to ask. Somebody just thought, I just felt it. Well, why they got to pay the last month? Here's another tactic that if you employ, you will enroll more students. You will hear this less often. Well, we're going to go home and talk about it because you just asked me to commit for 12 months. Well, we're going to go home and review our finances and make sure this is a good fit. Or they're going to say something like this, well, I'm not really sure if we should enroll tonight because, well, maybe I should whisper this, but Tommy quits everything and I'm not sure if he's going to stick with it. If you ask for the last month's tuition, you negate all that. Well, what if he wants to quit? Well, Mrs. Lewis, that's why we have you invest in your last month's tuition. In the event that this program is no longer a perfect fit, and it's not addressing the needs of your kid, all you got to do is let us know. Give us a 30-day notice. No harm, no foul. We're departed friends, and we plan on being here for the next 20 years. So when he's ready to come back, we'll open the doors. But Mrs. Lewis, for now, let's start a little bit more optimistically. You have found the right program. Let's move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, everything I've just done to you is a written down dialogue. I'm going to change the topic just for a second. One of the challenges a lot of men and women have in our line of work is they think they need to sound original. Ms. Chipman, I'm going to mute you. They have to sound original and organic and genuine and all those other words you read online. You know, the truth is you got to say what you mean and mean what you say. And I don't know about you, but if I mean what I say and I know how I want it expressed, well, I'm going to dial into how I say it the same way to everybody. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do something. Mr. Griffin, I'm going to mute you. There we go. I'm going to not only say the same thing to everybody, I'm going to make certain that everyone knows I'm going to say the same thing to everybody. I'm going to use the Warrior Success Systems golden rule, and here it is. We treat everyone the same. Everyone the same. We don't wheel, we don't deal, we don't beg, we don't borrow, we don't do any of that stuff. We treat everyone the same, and that is why we're such a professional organization. Now, when I say treat them the same, what I'm talking about is the same level of consideration and kindness and how you enroll people. Stop changing your tone, stop changing your offer every time you're met with some degree of resistance, and just simply decide moving forward that everyone is going to start and stay the same way. And the way they start and the way you determine how long they'll stay is what they believe they'll gain from your membership and how you've secured that in a program. So obviously we started this call with a bang. So any questions or comments or concerns about what I just addressed?
I went ahead and threw some in the chat from our group. So there are three sitting there in there waiting just in case.
Would you read them off, Jimmy?
Yes. From Colby Nelson, got quality control on leads. He's running the ads. He's gotten 11 leads. Out of the 11, he converted one so far. 3 of them were spam, and the rest he hasn't gotten a hold of.
Okay.
So he thinks the numbers can be better. Is there any way to control the quality of the people clicking his ad?
Yeah, I wish what I'm about to say isn't true, but it is. And here you go. We leverage what's referred to as interruption marketing. And I'm sure everyone on the call knows that. A person's scrolling through looking for cat videos, and there it is, a cartoonish ad of a cute little kid in a martial art uniform punching a turkey. And then there's the offer. The offer sounds too good to be true. What? 2 weeks for only 20 bucks? Yeah, I think my kid would look cute in that outfit. And they opt in. That is the average quality of your lead. How'd I do, Roman? Did I describe it fairly well? You want to add anything to it?
Oh, that's about it. It's interruption. So you're going to have to filter through some junk, but there is gold if you sift through it.
And the gold starts with how quick you are to respond. Statistically, and when I first heard this, I thought, this got to be exaggerated. But statistically, if you don't reach out to that opt-in within 5 minutes after you're notified, the likelihood of them ever taking your call is decreased down to 20%. How'd I do on that one, Roman? You want to back it up?
Yeah, I think that's being generous on how badly it would affect your conversion rate.
Now, since most of us can't be around we can't hit our call 24/7, there's got to be instantaneous response. Now, you can automate a text reply. What I would strongly recommend is go beyond text. Automate a video text that's short and sweet. Just introduce yourself and tell them, hey, I can't take your call right now, but I'm anxious to help you and your family. So if you will, reply to this text with a number I can reach out to you, a time I can reach out to you, and I will. Let them know that you're on top of it. So if you can take the call, take it ASAP. Because I tell you, this laissez-faire, my daughter's trying to learn French, attitude about handling leads simply doesn't work. The lead came in, I'll call them later. And later turns into tomorrow, and tomorrow turns into never. Listen, these leads, at the point of first connection, when they opt in, they've never been more excited about martial arts in their entire lives. You got to leverage that. But the problem is they're not excited enough to reach out to you later that day or to search you out and wonder, hey, why haven't they reached out to me yet? So you got to respond more quickly. Now, if they don't take your call, they can't take your call. If you want more return calls, you got to leave a message that's compelling. And you have to leave a message that does 3 things simultaneously. Number 1, you demonstrate your enthusiasm to help. Write it down. Next, you leverage the idea of scarcity. where, our classes are very popular, fill up fast. In concert with number three, you have to create urgency. Now, I'm just going to shoot from the hip here, okay? So here's a message I would leave. Hey, Carol Lewis. Hi, Carol. This is Fred Mertens, one of the instructors up here at Karate American Monument. And hey, I just see you opted in to find out about our 2-week trial. And I'm the instructor that's going to help you with all the information you need to know about this membership. So if you will, return my call. I got to warn you, Carol, our classes are filling up fast, and I'd hate for you to miss out. So either call me back directly or reply via text with the time I can reach out to you, and I will. I look forward to speaking with you. All the best for now. Goodbye. That's my message, guys. And I'm going to call it every 2.5, 3 hours. I'm going to keep calling until they either text back stop, or if I get them on the phone, they have to ask me never to call them again. Now, I'm exaggerating just a tad, but that's how assertive you have to become to follow up on these leads. These leads aren't even lukewarm. These leads are barely room temperature. But to spike it, to get hot and heavy, get boiled up, you got to move fast. Now, one more thing. If you want these leads to work out in your favor, don't call once, don't call twice. First day, reach out 6 times. Second day, reach out 4 times. Third day, reach out 2 or 3 times, and then call it quits. Your persistence will erode their resistance in taking your call. And of all the advice you heard today, this is the best. As soon as those leads come in, you got to fire all cannons in the same direction. Would you read the next concern, Roland?
Yes. From the group, you have one about family classes. So they watched the video talking about for the family classes, and they're interested to see how this works. So if you have like a couple bullet points that make family classes work, like lining up by height, that kind of stuff.
Okay, sure I do. Okay, first off, if you're attempting to make the transition from classes that are based on age and rank and maybe program, this can be a pretty big leap. So it has to be somewhat gradual. A lot of people are anxious for the next improvement, but hell, they don't want to change to get there. So you got to be kind of cautious about that. And let me just re-describe that. Right now, if you're leveraging a schedule that segregates your classes based on age or rank or maybe type of membership they're on, this transition into a family concept might be a bit of a challenge. So my first recommendation to make this transition smooth is offer a couple of family classes each week to start during your prime time hour. And when I use the term prime time hour, what is that 1 hour each and every night that you can count on people showing up? Is it 5:30 to 6:30? Is it 5:45 to 6:45? Is it 6:15 to 7:15? Whatever the most popular time hour in your academy is, that's where you want to place your family class. And then prior to offering your first lesson, let's build it. Mrs. Lewis, it's high time you joined your youngster. I mean, he's not too far ahead. He's only an orange belt. We're starting a family class next Tuesday. Here's your uniform. Welcome aboard. All I ask that you're here a few minutes before class. It's going to start promptly at 6. This way I can introduce you to some of your classmates. Oh, you're going to love these ladies. Start building the excitement about attending the class. Now let's talk about the class itself. Typically, what's required to execute a family class program is actually less curriculum, not more. Teach less, but do more of what you're teaching. So that's a big blanket over the concept. But as far as structure of the class, make sure that they're paired off with people or standing next to people their size. For many years now, we've leveraged the idea of line up not by rank, but by height. The little guys up front, the back guys in the back. Now, I'm just going to give a blanket answer about instruction. When you teach a family class, you are not teaching a children's program. You are teaching a family class. And if you want a greater impact on the family class, teach to the adults and let the children follow along. If the children can't do what you're instructing the adults, then maybe you're doing things a little bit more aggressively than they need to be. Teach to the adults, let the kids follow along, just monitor their reaction. To watch a video of someone teaching a family class, that's a little unfair because typically you're watching somebody who has years of experience and knows how to manipulate the group. But what I've just shared with you are the fundamentals of making that transition. But to get really good at teaching a family class, It comes down to one simple dynamic, and that is making sure you have a connection with the family before they take class and immediately after in terms of asking how they went, any challenges, is there anything you can help them with? And this is how you start to gain the momentum. Now, I'll warn you, family classes do, as I mentioned a moment ago, will require you to reduce some of your curriculum. You might even have to remove a few things, like, for example, the memorization aspect of your art. This is how you keep families together. The moment one family member has to go to a different class than another family member, the likelihood of that family membership surviving is reduced significantly, almost down to zero. It has to be convenient. So by trial and error and role play and practice, don't worry, you'll figure it out. Now, if you decide to visit my hometown of Jacksonville, Florida, leveraging Grandmaster Clark's locations, Karate America, you're welcome to visit those studios and watch firsthand. Or if you happen to be in Sacramento, we have our fifth studio open up there. But to watch a class, that might help a little bit. But you start doing classes. Remember, they're your students. They trust you. They admire you. They love you. Put them in class and just figure it out as you move forward. Now, if you want a bigger answer than that, I would recommend you come to a training seminar where we kick our shoes off and give examples of how we conduct family lessons. Next question, Mr. Pesky.
Next question is going to be about staff structure.
Go.
For smaller square footage, what do you guys recommend for staff structure? Our goal is to have about 150 students per location and stay around 1,500 square feet.
Okay, well, for each 100 active students, I think you need one full-time employee. And if you have, let's say, 90 to 120 students, you need that employee who can do everything, one-stop shop. He can market, he can sell, he can teach, he can upgrade, he can address challenges, he can overcome objections. He can go out there, shake hands and kiss babies and bring people into the academy. That's what's required to maintain a 100 active studio. Each additional 100, well, that merits another full-timer. But the gentleman asked a question about 150. So that's 1.5 staff members. Now, what is that 0.5? Is that 0.5 an assistant on the floor that's monitoring and adjusting the student's behavior, fixing their technique? No. That 0.5 staff member is someone who's going to help you build your business. Stop thinking you need more help on the mat and start believing you need more help on the topics of marketing and selling. I believe that the best way to keep your students longer is to not confuse the relationship the student has with your academy. Now, what I'm about to say is meant to help, not hurt, but check this out. The more instructors that influence the student, the less likely that student will survive the test of time. Should I say that again, Roman? Think it was clear enough? By allowing more people to help teach, you erode, you dissolve the impact that the instructor needs to have in the form of relationship with their students. If I ever visit your academy and sit down and speak with a parent and say, hey, well, how's your kid doing? Oh, he's doing great. So, well, who's the instructor? And she says, well, on Monday, it's Miss Sally. On Wednesday, it's that new guy. I think they call him Mr. Teddy. And then Master, he teaches on Saturday morning. What I just heard was my kid's involved in this martial art activity, and every time he shows up, he has a different experience. We're not really certain exactly which way we go, but for now, we're happy. Guys, that is a recipe for disaster. The likelihood of most of the men and women on this call right now having one instructor all the way to black belt is probably pretty doggone good. Listen, we are not in the business of promoting an activity. This is a mentorship. This is a student-instructor relationship. And particularly with these smaller locations, there has to be one instructor, and that instructor has to have all the skills to build that business. Once he breaks 100 active students, now he deserves a part-timer. And that part-timer is not there to assist on the mat. That part-timer is there to assist the instructor in growing that business by meeting and greeting, by answering the phone, by making outbound calls, by being involved in the sales aspect, being involved in everything from collecting testing fees to selling merchandise and equipment. This is how you turn a small studio into enormous success. Have less people helping, but the people who help know exactly what and how to do it. Was that question answered, Roman?
Yeah, that was great. Ready to move on to the next one?
Please.
Got from Richard. First, he said, very professional approach. I'm enjoying this. And then asked, do you recommend direct mail?
Richard, thank you for the compliment. And no, I do not recommend direct mail. And the reason why is that direct mail is not an occasional marketing effort, it's a firm, ongoing commitment. Guys, look, you may not have noticed, but the last time you opened up your mailbox and pulled out all the stuff, you saw direct mail pieces from the same company you were direct mailed from 60 days, 90 days ago. Direct mail isn't an occasional splash and dash. Direct mail is an ongoing strategy. And I have yet to see an example where direct mail is utilized for a martial arts academy that has been successful. I think what's better than direct mail is direct contact. What's cool about our business is this. If you sign up 180 new students, 15 a month, you upgrade half of those people, you have a business that will do north of $500,000. If you're not overspending on some of the things we could get caught up in, you end up making a professional living. That being said, since I only have to enroll 15 new students, go out and meet them. Go out and meet them. Hey, you're listening to the guy that came up with this crazy idea way back in the late 80s, early 90s. Why don't we just walk up to people, say hi, introduce ourselves, and give them a VIP membership for a month? I'm the guy that came up with that. It worked brilliantly. Go out and meet people, ladies and gentlemen. Stop thinking we're Planet Fitness that has to enroll 700 people this month. And by the way, that's the numbers they do. There's one Planet Fitness on Long Island that has 42,000 members. Do the math on that. But enough about them. Let's talk about us. It's not that we got to sign up 100 people this month. We got to sign up 15 every single month. And to sign up 15 people, you might have to teach, I don't know, what, 30 introductory lessons at a 50% close rate? And to teach 30 introductory lessons at a 50% close rate, you might have to have 60 people agree to come in. But heck, half of them are going to make it. But to get 60 people to agree to come in, you might have to meet 100, 125 people a month. There's 3 ways you can find these people. You can buy ads. You can spend on advertising over radio and television. That's still going on in some parts of the country. Or you can go out and meet and greet. Go out and meet people. Just meet people. There's an elevator pitch, and I feel kind of bad at using it as such, but I don't think it should be called an elevator pitch. There's a short dialogue you can have with somebody within a matter of moments, change their mind about who and what you are and the impact you can have on their family by inviting them to consider participating in your program. Why don't we do that 10 times a day? Hey, I'm going to do a shout out. There's a gentleman that I deeply admire. He's become a good friend. He's been a client for 25 years. His name is Clay Pittman. He's in Lubbock, Texas. Clay runs a jiu-jitsu academy. He's one of the senior students of Carlos Machado. Clay is enormously successful. His business is based on going out, shaking hands, kissing babies. And here's the crazy part. He's signing up families for jiu-jitsu. But once they meet him, once they're impressed by him, parents are immediately able to identify that, hey, this kid could be a positive influence on my youngster. I'm going to get on a soapbox, guys. Parents are starved for the opportunity to create an alliance with somebody who can raise their kid, to be an influence in their kid, be an example for their kid. Think about it. Most children most students or kids are influenced by what they saw on YouTube or Netflix. Listen, to have a mentor in a child's life, we know has a tremendous impact. Think about the relationship you have with your instructor. It would serve you tremendously well if you decided starting today, you're going to introduce yourself to people. Just walk up and say, hey, not for nothing, but I bet your kids would love karate. What'd you say? No, my name is Fred Mertens. I'm one of the instructors at Karate America. And kids just like your youngster roll our program every week. Let me tell you about the program. What if you did that 10 times a day? Thomas, I'm going to mute you. You're muted. What if you did that 10 times a day? Well, that'd be 300 people a month, 3,600 a year. Over the course of a lifetime, you would have met thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Listen, the first point of contact can be the first point of impact. Let the people in your community know who you are. And this idea, I got to throw $3,000 a month at Facebook, is a great idea. But I want you to realize that it could be a shortcut. And that's you knowing what to say, when to say it, how to meet, how to greet, how to connect, how to get in front of an audience and change their mind about the idea of the impact of martial arts. Because I tell you right now, the average person, when they think about martial arts, they think about a couple of guys clobbering themselves in an octagon. But when they meet you in person and you graciously extend an invitation to find out how martial arts can help their child for the better, it's incredible how people receive you. So I'm not sure if I answered the question, but that is the answer. Go ahead. Next question, Roman.
Gotcha. Next one is, what do you see as the average cost of acquisition? So how much is it costing to get a new student enrolled on average?
Well, how far up the food chain do you want to count the money? I mean, the first expense is your overhead. You got to dial that in, of course. But I understood what the question is. The question is, how much do I have to spend online to get a return? What is the average cost? Well, I don't think there is an average. There's some studios that can acquire a lead for 20 bucks and convert into a membership that pays 500 the very first visit. And there's some folks who are spending $400, $500, $600 just to generate a few leads to come in. Now, I don't have as much direct experience as Roman does. So Roman, I'm going to shift the answer to your court. So if you will, give your best explanation to our audience.
Yeah, let's say you get 10 leads through online. How many of those do you think would actually show up, or I guess just pick up the phone and answer? Half of those will be junk. Right, I'm asking you. So half of
You
those
asked
will be
me.
junk. Yes.
Okay,
And then how
all
many
right.
would you say would pick up the phone and answer?
Less than half.
Less than half. Let's say you do a family add-on, you get
Yeah.
3 trials in the door. Can we get a mute on Duncan, please?
Got it. I just did. Would you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, so let's say 10 leads, half of them are junk. You get a couple to pick up the phone. You get, let's say, 3 trials out of it. The averages get messed up because in some areas of the country, those 10 leads would cost you $5 each. In some parts of the country, they would cost you $20 each. What's important is that whatever amount you're spending to get those students signed up is less than the cost of your membership on day one. So as long as that is kind of in alignment there, you're on the right track. But as far as getting a hard number, it depends so much on what part of the country, what the population is around, like your physical school location, that there's really not one set number for that.
Yeah. But to give everyone a sense of direction, the goal is when they come in to put them on a membership that's going to matter, both you and them. And how it's going to matter to you is that what you collect on that very first visit has to far exceed everything it costs for you to get that person in front of you. And to go back to how we started this call, how can I make more money at the front of the membership? You got to leverage what we refer to as initial investment. Back in the olden times, we called that a down payment. We help them understand the down payment is a portion of the overall tuition if they were to ask. But we leverage a savings against that by rebating the value of whatever trial they sell you, you sell them. So whether the trial is 2 weeks or a month, it makes no difference to me. There is a value to that. And that's the value you're going to apply as an incentive to help them start the end of first visit. Now, if you really want to go deep, match the money, match the savings. And the way you match that is you say, hey, Mrs. Lewis, I'm just so confident this is the right membership. I want to help. I'm going to go ahead and match this savings, saving you a total of whatever it is, 500 bucks by enrolling tonight for your entire family. As let me say this gracefully. A lot of people, when they hear that, think, oh, Fred, that sounds so salesy. Yeah, because it is sales. And providing an incentive to make a decision at the end of the first visit has been used and utilized and has had a successful sales impact on all sales since the dawn of time. If you're not utilizing this, you're at a slight disadvantage. Because in my brain, what I want people to feel, and you might want to write this one down, in my mind, I want people to feel this. I can't believe how inexpensive it is based on the value I'm going to get. Which brings me to another point. So often when we think we need to enroll more people, we believe the shortcut is to make our program seemingly more affordable. Make it real cheap for people to start and you'll sign up more people. You might get more people to say, yeah, I'll start, but you get very few people to stay. Write it down. No money now typically means no money ever. So this idea of trying to make your program seemingly more affordable to enroll always backfires because in our line of work, you can't discount your way to success. However, on the other end of the spectrum is your job is to make your program more valuable. Now, how do you make it more valuable? Don't get confused now. It's not about you creating a value stack of stuff you give them. I'm not talking about that value. I'm talking about the change that a parent has in their mind's eye about the impact that your membership would have. And to do that, you need a dynamic sales presentation. You need to take whatever it is they believe they want, amplify it, and demonstrate how you can deliver. You need to become a better salesperson. A lot of people think selling is all about being behind the desk and saying words that are tricky. No, sales is you demonstrate who, what you are, and the impact you're going to have. So if you want to make your program more valuable in concert with charging more money and asking more money when they start, they have to have a bigger impact the first time they come in contact with you and the first experience they have. And that impact has to be a surefire demonstration of how their kid is going to get what they want for them. And if you do it right, that parent, you want to get in on it as well. And that's a whole nother topic about family memberships. Next question, Mr. Pesky.
Next question is going to be from Justin. But before we jump into that one, I'm going to drop the onboarding call link into the chat. So if we don't get to anyone's, you can go ahead and book a one-on-one call with somebody on the team. Then we can kind of see how it applies to your school individually. So
Good thinking.
drop that in the call so that we don't run out of time at the end.
Yeah.
And then from Justin, we got, how do you get the parent to cross the money line going from spectator to member?
Okay, that's a pretty broad question. So I'm going to go ahead and reshape it, and I'm going to give it a condition. So how do you go from a parent sitting in the lobby and their kid may have been training for a couple of months, and how do you get them up out of that seat onto that mat and not only put on a uniform, but cheerfully and eagerly and graciously pay the freight? That's the question. Well, here's what you do. Don't make it about the parent. If you want to have more parents involved in your membership, stop making it about mommy learning self-defense. Stop making it about the mother learning losing 20 pounds just in time for the holidays, and start making it about supporting their youngster. I tell you, it took us years to figure this out, and it hit us like a eureka moment. Oh, eureka! Because I remember thousands of times I'd walk into Miss Smith and say, Miss Smith, your kid's only a green belt. Let's catch up with them. Oh, no, it's not for me. And I used to double down on that. Oh, yes, it is for you. You know, develop your strength, your cardiovascular endurance, your flexibility, your moves. I was a goofball about it. I thought I could convey or convince a parent that it was time for them to start taking martial arts for their benefit. Now, I was wrong 9 times out of 10. The way I got it right 9 times out of 10 is I stopped making it about the parent participating and earning and learning all those benefits and start making it more about the parent providing the support needed to help their child succeed in all areas of their lives. That's the transition. However, it's got to happen fast. If a student's been training beyond 6 months, it's hard to get that parent involved at all. Because again, the perception the kid's so far ahead of them. All right, so that's number one. Number one is make it about the parent supporting their kid. Now, if you want to get more parents involved, start at the very beginning. What's he talking about? The first conversation you have, they got to know they too will be involved. But how do you do it? Well, you do it stealthily. Like, for example, after I book a call, and after I collected $20, and after the first lesson has been secured, I'm going to say this. And Ms. Lewis, just to let you know, in the first lesson, that orientation class you're coming in tomorrow night at 7, parents participate. So wear some loose-fitting clothes. You know, maybe something you might wish at the gym. But let me put your mind at ease. It's not going to be a strenuous workout. We're not going to do anything crazy. You're not even going to break a sweat. But this way, you'll be able to see firsthand how I'm going to help your child develop that self-confidence that you want for him. Okay? Oh, no, I can't do the class. I got a bad back, a bad knee, a bad hip. I'm in a bad marriage. I can't possibly take that class. Oh, Mrs. Beth, we're going to have a blast. I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Tell them, forewarn them. Let them know that the first time they come into your academy, they're not going to sit and watch. Letting parents sit and watch a new student is the kiss of death, guys. Allowing a parent to sit with their arms crossed, passing judgment on their child in the very first martial art lesson will, in fact, sign up less people. But getting the parent involved, 2 things have happened. Number one is they're giving their child a vote of support. They're actually finding out firsthand how we're going to help their kid. It's a front row seat to the experience of what we're about to sell them. And second, it's the first step, sort of, on the mat, where they learn how to close their fist, they punch along their kid. They made the kid kick the target. They kicked the target. There was some kind of experience about martial arts that wasn't that scary. You got to keep in mind, for most adults, taking a martial art class is a pretty scary proposition. I mean, they flash back to the first time they jumped off the high dive as a kid. I mean, it's a scary proposition. So if you want the first experience to go smoothly and to gently indoctrinate a parent to your program, it starts at the introductory lesson. Now, let's say that happened, but they refused to enroll. Now they're in the lobby. The way you further condition these parents to cross that line that was mentioned is to get them to come out onto the mat during each and every class, not to help you, not to assist with you, but to train with their youngster, do some kind of training drill. Because we've uncovered the more frequently an adult steps onto the mat with their child, it begins to erode whatever resistance they might have about getting enrolled. And the third thing is you got to start them with a bang. I'm not sure if I mentioned a third thing, but here we go. A third thing, make it a gift. Mrs. Lewis, my instructors and I were speaking about you, and hey, we just know it'd be a great idea for you to join your kid on the class. So here you go, ma'am. Here's your uniform. The next month, it's official. You're one of our students. Just gently invite them onto the mat. Only after they've experienced the mat would it be fair for you to present them with some type of membership to enroll on. Now, did I answer that question for that gentleman, or do we need to go a little further?
I think you did great. If they drop a follow-up, we can circle back to it and see if we need to dive in a little bit deeper.
Great. All right, we have time for one more.
Got it. Let's do this is a quick one from Stephen Johnson again. What should the average student value per month be?
400. So if you have 100 students, you'd be doing 40 grand. Oh, that's impossible. Well, maybe you're counting only some of the beans, not all of them. What I want everyone to realize that tuition is a portion of the overall monies that a student will invest in your membership. And let me give you a few examples. We've identified 9 streams of income. There are 9 different types of receipts we can write. And to go from wherever you are student value, let's say your student value is $200, to get to another $200, it isn't that individual student that amps up their money, but overall the money that's collected from your active account. And here's what you can do. You can sell additional services and products and events and seminars. Not just the next one, but the rest of them. I can only imagine that most of us on this call charge some type of certification fee, whatever it is, $40, $80, makes no difference to me. Right now, you might be selling certification fees one at a time. When the student's ready. Why don't we sell all of them now? Or put them on an autoplay, where we give them a slight discount, allow them to pay toward their graduation or certification fees as they train along. It's just one example. Same thing with seminars. Don't sell them the next one. Sell them the rest of them. Because listen, there's only 3 ways you can make bigger money in this business. And here they are. And this is how we elevate our student value. You need to enroll more students. Okay. But there's 2 levels of that. And not just the students you enroll, but the families you add. The second thing is that you have to charge more money for everything. Listen, if you're on this call with us and you're not charging $200 a month, at least that, you're behind the 8 ball. So you got to charge more for everything, for your tuition, for your certification, for your seminars, for your activities, for your merchandise. But the third way is to collect on promises faster. So one of the surefire ways to increasing your student value is each month, somebody needs to take advantage of an enormous savings to pay off their membership. And this is how a studio is able to collect single installments of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Now, this is not about collecting money right now. We can reserve that topic for later. But the largest single payment I've seen so far was $27,500. Now, did that have an impact on the overall student value of that studio? You better believe it. So one of the ways you can amp up the student value isn't just by thinking, how much more can I get him to pay? It's got to be, how much of the membership can I encourage a family to invest in advance? That's how you change your student value. Because if you did the math based on how the money comes in, the bigger impact on your student value typically comes from a larger single payments. So yeah, I'm an advocate of allowing people to save money by prepaying their program. And as a result of doing that, that is what changes your student value. And for those that are new to this, here's what you do. Go back maybe 6 months and add up all your money. Then over that 6 months time frame, figure out what your average active count was for each month. and divide it by that number. So let's say I did, I don't know, for soft numbers, I did $40,000. And on average, I had an average active count of 100. That would mean that my student value is $400. That's a simplistic way of approaching it. But what you're going to find, though, in order to change your student value, you have to collect more money on the front end, and you have to collect more money from your students towards future services or future outcomes. Okay. All right. So one last time, then we got to tap out.
Yep. We got
From
one
the
last. Go ahead.
go ahead, sir.
I was going to say one quick one was discounts for additional family members. Yes or no?
Well, if you have to break out your calculator to figure out what it will cost that family, you're heading in the wrong direction. So here's my firm recommendation. Families 2x. 2x. So if your tuition is $249, that's $498 a month. Mom, dad, everybody gets to participate. Well, Fred, what happens if they all show up? Well, let me tell you something. I've been doing this for a long time, and here's what happens. A family membership, that is to say, mom, dad, and kids show up at the same lesson, will show up 1.25 times per week. That controls your congestion concern. Although families come less frequently, you're going to find over time, families are more consistent. So if you want a shortcut to family membership success, just 2x it. Whatever your tuition rate is, times 2, everyone else is involved. That's my recommendation. Now, there could be an outlier where, well, heck, there's a family of 20. Well, double check, make sure they're all under the same household. But for the most part, 2x it, you're golden. You're golden. All right, one last thing. Here comes the commercial. Hey, I'm doing a one-day event, which some of the ideas I shared with you today will be drilled down deep. January 23rd. It's the day before Grandmaster Clark's 3-day certification program in Jacksonville, Florida. Did you just upload the link?
Yeah, I just dropped it in the chat for the Zoom call.
You guys hit that link, and if you want to come to the seminar, it's only $1,000. Apply the passcode early, you'll save 200. So it goes 1,200, 1,000. But come to that one-day event. Fly in Wednesday night. I'll be at the headquarters. Stop by, visit. I'll show you around, and let's have a full 12-hour day from 8 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. And I'm going to teach you guys everything you need to know about level 1, level 2, level 3 activity. Level 1 is marketing, driving those leads, having 120, 150 leads a month. Level 2 is turning them into trials that show up. And the goal is 50% conversion. And level 3 is put them into a basic membership, an entry-level program that can be shaped however you like. But this is the life's blood of your business. And come to this seminar, and I guarantee by the end of the afternoon, you'll know more about how to do this than you ever thought possible and have an actionable step, an action step you can take. And as an additional bonus, here we go, bonus, the next day, the first day of Master Clark's warrior training, physical training, is on us. You can just be our guest to get an experience with that, interact and work directly under Grandmaster Clark during his trainings. It'll give you an opportunity to find out what we're all about and whether or not you would want to become more deeply connected to the warrior concept. So if you will, hit the link, check it out. I look forward to seeing you guys in Jacksonville. And one last thing. Hey, I appreciate all the familiar faces that were on this call today. Thank you so much for having the confidence to join in. And I do look forward to seeing you guys in person. All the best. God bless.